what I particularly love about it is working with musicians in the sense that they're my bosses, and the instruments that they're bringing to me, the reason they're bringing them to me in the first place is because they're having a problem with them. And it's my job to assess that problem, also to assess the full potential of the instrument, and then to work on it, to release that full potential in terms of the playability and the tonal possibilities of the instrument. What got me started was that I'm a musician myself, and 30 years ago in Ireland there wasn't really anybody around as such like doing repairs to instruments, because to a large degree the instruments that we had weren't worth repairing. Now, after about, I suppose, 10 years of substandard instruments coming from all over the world, eventually we did start to get good instruments here from the States, and a lot of those needed a lot of work on them in terms of the action that needed to be adjusted in terms of the playability of the thing, and the accuracy of the instrument. Saddles needed to be done to be replaced, frets needed to be done to add to the playability of the thing. I used to manufacture instruments. I mean, I started out in this business as a manufacturer, as a maker of instruments, but the big problem there is that with the development of musical instrument supply as a big global market, that the instruments can now be made, and particularly down in China at the minute, who have a huge instrument making industry, and they can supply instruments that are of a very, very high standard for very, very reasonable money. Now, the problem there is that the added value that we put onto them in terms of what we're making, that the general public as such like can't see that. So the baseline of the price then is way down, so people can't make the leap then from what they're getting them from China, as opposed to what they'll be paying the likes of me to make them. People can't understand that. So that kind of, to a large degree, like has eroded the market. It has pushed a lot of us instrument makers now into repairing, which is another side of the craft, which we can actually make a living out of, because even though they are well made, they're not superbly made, so there are always bits falling off and pieces need doing and redoing and all of that. Musicians are a varied bunch and a very colourful bunch of people to deal with, because they are pure artists, and when they come to you, like they have a concept, and they don't really are governed by the pragmatic constraints that I would be governed by. In other words, the limitations like of the science that I have to work within, the limitations of the laws of science that I have to work within. You'll get that a lot with people like who are looking for particular sounds. Now, they have this sound in their head, which I can't very well hear. And they're asking me to get the instrument to respond in such a way like that is going to give them that particular sound or that particular tone. And a lot of the instruments, like because of their construction, they may not have the right instrument for that particular sound. So sometimes you actually have to tell them like that they need a different instrument, that the instrument itself isn't just capable of delivering what they want it to deliver. When you're dealing with instruments like that have failed due to to either defective materials or in particular defective design. That brings in a lot of kind of other issues, and you have to really get into the mindset there, or the headspace of the guy who designed it, so that you can repair it with a degree of sensitivity to his original design, not impose your own kind of ideas of what you think an instrument should be on top of his design, but to a large degree use your knowledge and you use your experience to repair that instrument without turning it into an O'Halloran guitar, as opposed to whatever label it bears, and being sensitive to the design of it as well, and not devaluing it, which is another issue. Like, you want it kind of pretty close to its original design anyway.